Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. Come on in.
Good morning.
Good morning, Cherie. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning. And tell my sister Patricia I say good morning as well, please.
Got a little late start this morning, and we got a few people calling in saying they're getting ready to jump in. So we'll give it another couple minutes before we get started. Get myself set up here. All right, it is 11:09. We'll give it one more minute. All right, it is 11:10, and we have a lot of information to cover today, and I don't want to be respectful of everyone's time. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's see, are we recording? You're recording. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Saturday morning Akana uh, business call. We're just excited to be able to share information with you today. My name is Michael Newsome, and I'll be your presenter today. And I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to jump right into the presentation. Just a little housekeeping. We have a lot to cover over the next 40 minutes or so, 50 minutes. And if you can hold your questions to the end, we'll be glad to answer them at the end. But if you stop me in the middle of the presentation, I've got to go back to the beginning. So, because I have it all memorized. So I don't want to have to go back to the beginning because we'll be here till about 3 o'clock. So we're going to hold all our questions to the end and we're going to get started. So I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to start from the very beginning. Okay. Again, my name is Michael Newsome. I'm your presenter today. They call me Coach Diamond Mike. And today we're going to talk about blood types and blue zones. I am the owner of Blue Moon Wellness located in Richmond, Virginia. I'm a HIPAA certified wellness coach. I'm a certified nutrition coach. I'm a founding level distributor with the Econo Corporation, our fantastic host for today, sponsor of today's presentation. And I'm also a scan coach with the Econo Corporation. So we have a lot to be grateful for with our host company. The name of the company is Econo, as I just mentioned. They're based out of Brownsville, Chicago, and the meaning of Econo means in the hands of God. Isn't that a beautiful name for a company? The company launched in 2019 with a line of CBD products. In 2020, we expanded to include a complete line of wellness and weight management products. And in 2021, we introduced our flagship product, the Flat Belly Lifestyle. We have over 30,000 customers. We have to update this slide, and it's growing rapidly. We're a customer-based company. We pride ourselves in five-star customer service, and we also pride ourselves in supporting underserved communities. The company's right in the middle of the community, the corporate office over in Brownsville, Chicago, right in the middle of the community, and with many great things to uplift that area. The company's mission is that we believe health, wealth, freedom, and legacy are our birthright. And by offering the most life-changing products and an innovative business model, we empower people to elevate to their full potential.
Get out of there.
If you can mute your phone, I would really appreciate it. I don't want to have to go back to the beginning, so please mute. Thank you very much. The company has a vision. Our vision is a world where everyone has access to nutrition and to the resources that they need to thrive, create healthy, wealthy, and more resilient communities. Through our blood type campaign, which we're going to talk about today, we're empowering millions of families to discover their blood type and embrace our 5 steps to generational health, a simple but personalized roadmap to wellness. We're fostering these habits, and we aim to break the cycle of disease and poverty, building a foundation of generational health and prosperity for families worldwide. That is a beautiful vision for a company. So let's jump into some facts. Again, we're a nutrition company. We're a health and wellness company. And today we're going to talk about diet. We're going to talk about nutritional things. And it all starts with the decisions. This slide to me represents the decisions that we make. We can either choose to eat a diet that's healthy, that's from the earth, that is natural, or we can choose to make decisions based on the standard American diet, which is based on processed foods, full of sugar, salt, and preservatives, things that, are tasty, they're convenient, but they're not healthy. So in the US, that's the problem that we are facing today. Our visionary CEO coined a phrase called suicide. And what that means is that we are digging our graves with our fork. So are you going to choose the original diet, or are you going to choose the new American diet, the standard American diet? And as you can see, where the choices have been over the past few years, that standard American diet is what's causing a lot of the issues that we're going to be addressing today. As a result of these decisions that we're making, as a result of making bad food choices, this is the results. We see it all around us. We see it in the manifestation of heart disease. We see it in the manifestation of cancer, diabetes, a shortened lifespan. All of these things is a health crisis that we can't ignore. It's all around us. We're not ignoring it because we're dealing with it every day. The number one killer in America is cardiovascular disease, often called the silent killer, because you can have cardiovascular disease and not show any outward symptoms. And in 2020, nearly 700,000 people have died from cardiovascular disease. And I did the check, and in 2024, the numbers haven't really changed. We're still in that 700,000 person range, and in about 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent, and when the damage is done, the person's not aware of it. And guess what? Another statistic is that 90% of these deaths are preventable, but you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know how to manage it. And if you're just living the traditional American lifestyle, making those bad choices we just talked about, you're going to be in these statistics. Let me give you another piece of information. The stats show that an alarming number of our 14 to 19-year-olds are showing as much as 40% blocked arteries. So the trends are getting younger. The symptoms are showing up in our children. So, we're getting this information, and what we're doing right now is we're part of our business mission is to share and to educate. Let me give you another stat for African Americans. Do you know the significance of age 45 for African Americans? Age 45 for African Americans. Answer to that question is you are 2 times more likely to die from heart disease. So if you're in the underserved community, if you're African American community, you're 2 times more to have what's being displayed on the screen, which is called atherosclerosis. And what that means is if you look on the far left where you see the outer walls of your arteries, when you're healthy and everything is flowing, when you're young, you're not showing any signs of plaque. But as you progress through life and as you eat food and as you live life, especially with the types of diet that we have in our country, you start building up plaque within the artery walls, which is called the endothelium. And as you can see, as it progresses, it builds up more and more and more till it gets to the final stage of a blocked artery, which causes heart attacks. Where people have to have bypass surgery, they have these stents put in. That's as a result of the cholesterol and plaque building up in your arteries. And again, if you're African American, you're 2 times more likely to suffer from this condition. Let's talk a little bit about some of the. If you can mute your phone, that would be really great. I appreciate that. Let's talk about some of the reasons that these issues impact our community. Let's go over 5 of them. One, what you're going to hear a lot about today, we're going to do a deeper dive into this, is the lack of understanding of blood types. Our company is building a whole campaign around, do you know your blood type? You may be here in this meeting today as a result of someone asking you, do you know your blood type? Because we realize that your blood type is a more reliable measure of your identity than race, culture, or geography. It's a genetic blueprint for who you are, and it's a guide to how you can live most healthily. Guys, we have the data. We've got information, and we know that understanding your blood type is fundamental to dealing with a lot of the issues that we see today. And as a company, Akana is committed to helping 1 million families learn their blood type. So like I said, you may be here today as a result of someone just asking that very simple, do you know your blood type? And a lot of people don't know that the answer to that question. And if you give blood, you might have it on your donor card. That's my story. I knew it at one time because I was giving blood on a regular basis, and I had a donor card. When I lost my donor card, I forgot what my blood type was. And when I went to my doctor to ask them what my blood type was, they didn't know. They had a stack of data on me this thick, but they did not know what my blood type was. So, I ended up, because of my connection with the company, I realized that I could figure it out myself. And I'm gonna come back to that a little bit later. So let me just give you some background. Let's do a little bit of deep dive on blood types. There are 4 types of blood types. This is why it's important. There's A, B, O, and AB. And like I said a moment ago, it's a very powerful genetic fingerprint that identifies you as surely as your DNA, because each blood type has very distinct and significant characteristics. And this is it kind of in a nutshell. If you're blood type A, which is the agrarian, you are nature's vegetarians. Your ancestors thrived on farming and cooperative living with adaptable and community-focused traits. We have tons of data on what it means to be a blood type A. But basically, your ancestors were farmers, and your body thrives on a vegetarian style diet. B is a balanced blood type, and your ancestors adapted to harsh climates and diverse populations. If you're an O, which is the oldest blood type, originated out of Africa, uh, your ancestors evolved as hunters and gatherers with strong survival instincts and with a fierce immune system. The AB is the most recent, the most modern blood type, and it represents, it's the rarest blood type also, and it represents the merging of the union between blood type A and blood type B. As we started to populate Earth and started to intermingle, that that showed how that, or that allowed the blood types to mingle and diversify. So that's a quick overview of blood types in terms of the four basic types. And I know there's positive and negative, but for our discussion, it doesn't really make a difference because it's the major categories that we want to focus on. So again, your blood type is the key to your body's immune system. It controls the influences of viruses, bacteria, infections, chemicals, stress, and an assortment of conditions that might compromise your immune system. So look at this graphic right here. This kind of gives you a graphic idea of what it means when you don't eat to your blood type. The graphic on the left shows when you're eating to your blood type, your body's functioning well, things are being processed by your body in a proper way, and you're able to maintain, and they're focusing on the gut. You're focusing more on a healthy gut versus the image on the right is showing the gentleman who probably isn't eating to his blood type. And as a result, his body doesn't know how to process the foods properly. And when your body doesn't know how to process food properly, instead of it eliminating the foods, it stores the foods and stores the toxins and the waste. Instead of those things being eliminated from your body, it's storing it in your body, and you get a result like you see on the character on the right, the cartoon on the right. He looks bloated, he's inflamed, he's got digestive problems, and all of these are a result of not eating to your blood type. So when we eat foods that contains lectins, this is a little bit more detail about what happens when you eat against your blood type. Because when you eat foods that antagonize your immune system, their food, their elements called their proteins called lectins, and it's kind of like you're trying to mix oil and vinegar, or yeah, oil and water, oil and water. It just doesn't mix, and it causes a reaction in your body, and actually can create a carcinogenic effect, which is we all know is cancerous. So we want to be able to eat foods that's consistent. I like to compare it to putting regular gas in a premium car. You want to put in the premium fuel in the premium vehicle. Your body is the most premium vehicle ever created. So you want to put the right fuel in it. You don't want to put fuel in it that's going to clog up the inner workings of this fine-tuned machine. So that's why we know that eating against your blood type causes problems. Again, it goes back to the lectins. Your body has such a fine-tuned immune system, it can fight off 95% of these lectins, but those 5% that aren't filtered causes problems. So what are the consequences of eating to your blood type? We talked about it a little earlier when we showed you the slide of the atherosclerosis, how it progresses and how it gets into your arteries and thickens it up and prevents blood from flowing. That process is called agglutination, where it causes these clumps in your arteries, and the bacteria are being held together by the antibodies, and it just causes the packing of your arteries to the point where you can possibly have a rupture, and that causes that's a problem when you have ruptured arteries. That's called a stroke. So learn your blood type. So it's posed as a question, but I'm gonna pose it as a statement. Learn your blood type. That's not a question, that's a statement. We want you to do that. That's a command. So why? Why is it important? Because we want you to break the generation cycle. We see these things have happened over and over again. The data shows that these things occur A lot of people say, well, it's generational. It's generational because the information isn't transferred. You have the power to stop it with knowledge and information, and that's part of what we're doing. That's what part of what we're doing today, and that's part of the campaign that the company has to reach 1 million people, so we can break that cycle. And we have the information, so the power is in our hands. So guess what? Information, knowledge is power. If they give you the wrong blood type, it could kill you. Yes, it can, because not all blood types are compatible. If you're blood type A, you can't give blood to a blood type O. But if you're blood type O, you can give it to a blood type A. So there's a lot of different combinations, but if you don't know this information, and if your healthcare provider isn't acknowledging this information, it can cause problems. And yes, it could kill you. If you eat the wrong food, yes, it could kill you. And what happens, and what you can see just by observation, it happens slowly. And the human body, again, is such a fine-tuned machine that it takes a long time to damage it. But over time, you see it manifesting in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, arthritis and cardiovascular and inflammation and fatigue and brain fog. All these things start appearing over time. But we showed the slide earlier where a lot of these symptoms are starting to show up in a younger and younger in our youth. So we got to address it. So part of what we do in our educational process, and the concept behind eating to your blood type, is that there are foods that are beneficial for you, there are foods that are neutral for you, and there are foods that you should stay away from. And this chart is a very simple depiction of that concept of foods that are beneficial, neutral, and foods that you should avoid. And it's all based on this book on the far right, as you can see it. It was released in 1996, called Eat Right for Your Blood Type, developed by Dr. Peter J. Diamo. This study and this concept of eating to your blood type goes back 2 generations. It goes back to Dr. Diamo and his father. They're both naturopaths who've done this research and can tell us that a blood type A, you should stay away from tomatoes, bananas. We talked about being that agrarian type of diet. Stay away from the meat. Those lamb chops right there, those aren't good for you. Potatoes and shrimp. Blood type B, I'm sorry to be the one to break the news, but chicken is not your friend, blood type B. Avocados, shrimp, shellfish, those are not cause that reaction in your body, that agglutination reaction, by eating those foods. Same thing with a blood type O. I'm a blood type O. No more catfish, no more avocados. I love oranges. I love white wine and cashews. But now that I know this information, it's not that I stop eating them altogether, because there are some health components like avocados. We know avocados are healthy fats, but I know don't eat a lot of it because it causes a reaction. Not that I'm never going to eat a cashew again, but I don't eat a lot of cashews because I know it causes an adverse reaction in my body. Same thing with the AB. Chicken, bananas, black beans, avocados, and shrimp, not your friend. They cause a reaction. So when you know this information, you can make adjustments in your diet. And I've had countless results when people made these adjustments. Things like inflammation, arthritis have been addressed as a result of them dealing with eating habits. So why are we just learning about the foods that impact your blood types? And we showed that the book came out in 1996. So, part of it is because it isn't taught in medical school, and it's not promoted by Big Pharma. Why? Because it cuts into their bottom line. And, medical school, medical education, they have their own way. The American philosophy around medical education is more into the reactive mode instead of the preventive mode. What we just showed you with the foods is preventative. If you don't eat it, it won't cause a problem. Medical school and the medical philosophy in this country is, once you get it, let's deal with it. But we're trying to be more holistic. We want to deal with it up front and not on the back end. So let's prevent illness versus having to cure illness. So the connection with big business and in your health. it's well documented that there are instances that big business has often put profits over people. And these are some of the examples right here on the screen. Cigarettes. If you go back and look at those commercials back in the 50s, you see the doctors walking around smoking cigarettes, talking about, these are good for you. Here, have a cigarette, giving it to the patient. Trans fats, in the potato chips, in the junk food, not real nutrition, but they put these trans fats in it because it gives it more shelf life, it gives it more taste, but ultimately your body doesn't know what it is because it's junk, it's not real food, so your body doesn't know how to process it, so it sticks it someplace where it shouldn't go. Maybe it's in your liver, maybe it's in your pancreas, maybe it's in your gut. We know that the 5G cell phone, the signals and the wires that are in our environment causes problems. The GMO foods, genetically modified organisms, they're taking foods and changing them in the laboratories for profit. Why can you not find grapes with seeds in them? Because if you want to grow grapes, you now have to go to a certain company to buy the seeds, because you can't just buy grapes and plant the seeds anymore because they've taken them out. Yeah, they're more convenient. You don't have to spit grape seeds and watermelon seeds out, but that's not how nature designed it. It's a genetically man-made organism. So anything that is from its original form to a copy, you're taking your chances. And probably the biggest campaign in business that uh, demonstrates profits over people is the milk campaign. The famous Got Milk campaign. We've all seen it. We've all heard it. Famous stars, famous athlete with the little milk mustache talking about milk does the body good. But when you go back and do the research, milk does not do the body good. Milk causes mucus in the human body. The human species, as brilliant as we are, as creative as we are, we're the only species that drinks the milk of another species. Now, that is an unnatural habit that creates acidic iron in your body, and it increases the risk of cancer and other such diseases. Inflammation, mucus, all those things happen as a result of us drinking milk from the species of another animal. And that campaign, from a business point of view, was started by some farmers. They formed a coalition, put together 23 million, and as a result of that, it's a very successful marketing and business campaign, created revenues and profits well over 23 billion. Again, one of the most successful advertising campaigns in history, but the message was faulty, and it's done a lot of harm to people because they didn't know, and drinking that milk causes issues in your body. So philosophically speaking, there are countries that have adopted the blood type diet, who adopted a more holistic philosophy about health and wellness, and you can see the results. Let's look at a quick comparison between Japan and the United States. The life expectancy in Japan on a worldwide ranking is number one, where the average lifespan is 84.6 years old. In comparison to the United States, is 50th in the worldwide rankings, and the average lifespan of an American is 76 years old. And if you're an African American, go ahead and just take 5 years off of that and bring that down to 71.8. We talked earlier about the life expectancy of a 45-year-old African American. Now we're talking about just in general. So the philosophy, you can see the impact of the philosophical differences between a country like Japan, who's adopted blood type diet eating, and blue zones, which we're going to talk about in a second, versus the United States, who has none. So blue zones, again, a philosophy of how to manage your lifestyle. And there are 6 countries in the world, 6 zones in the world that have very similar characteristics. And the result of these similar characteristics is that the people who live in these countries, in these zones, they live a lot longer than the average person. We talked about 76 and 71. These zones, the people are living into their hundreds. Octogenarians? No, that's not it. Anyway, past their 100s. and they have very similar to characteristics. In Japan, as you can see, is one of them. Singapore, Ikaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, and there's only one blue zone in the United States, and that's in Loma Linda, California. And some of the commonalities of these areas are that they share these very similar characteristics. They call them the Power Nine, where they have the ability to they have a sense of purpose together. They routinely share maybe one glass of wine. They put family first. When they eat mindfully. Instead of overeating, they only eat 80% of what's on their plate. They move naturally. They have a routine of physical motion. They surround themselves with the right people, and they believe in a higher power bigger than them. So these are some of the nine characteristics of blue zones. And what we're advocating as a company is that create a blue zone in your house. How do you create a blue zone community? How do you create a blue zone nation? How do you create a blue zone? It You got to start somewhere. Let it start with you. Let it start with your family. Teach your family these concepts so that we can teach it to others, so that we can have a healthy nation and we can have a healthy generation. And that's part of the corporate mission. So we show you that by following the blood type evidence based on the data, you can protect us from common viruses, infections, and deal with some of these life-threatening disease. And you can achieve some of your goals in terms of weight and fitness and exercise. So, what are the results of some of these issues that we're showing? One of them is oxidation. Oxidation basically is the aging process. We're all going to age. We're all going to. You can see they're using a rusty bolt in a banana that's getting older. That's what oxidation is. It's a process of cellular breakdown. What it does, it's a contributor to the things we've been talking about all morning: heart disease, cancer, arthritis. All these things associated with getting old is part of the aging process. But guess what? You can slow down the oxidation process. You can slow down the breakdown of your body. And we actually call our detoxification products age reversing. And how do you prevent oxidation? With antioxidants. What are antioxidants? They're nature's way of battling the oxidation process. You have a natural defense against the aging process. What is that? By the foods that you eat. That's how perfectly we were designed. We know that the process is going to happen, but we also have a way to battle that by fruits and vegetables that are loaded with the compounds called phytonutrients, which are antioxidants. And if we eat the right types of foods, we can battle some of these things that we're dealing with in our society today. Another issue that we're dealing with, in addition to the aging process, is omega-3 deficiency. Omega-3 is a key nutrient that we need, key micronutrient that we need that will help prevent cardiovascular disease. It will help prevent cognitive decline. What are we seeing a lot more prevalent in our society today? Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, chronic inflammation, arthritis, cancer, metabolic health. Everywhere you look, you can see the results of weight gain and obesity, our immune functions. We saw the impact of a weak immune system when we just went through the COVID crisis. COVID, basically, when it all is said and done, it's a really bad cold. And because our immune systems were compromised and were weakened, when this really strong infection came through with cold-like symptoms and flu-like symptoms came through, millions of people were taken out because they were susceptible and the immune system was not strong enough to fight it off because of lack of, or partly because of omega-3 deficiency, as well as bone health and the increased risk of osteoporosis as a result of being omega-3 deficient. Another symptom of not understanding some of the issues that's going on in society and with your blood type is an unhealthy gut. Did you know that 70% of our immune system is in our gut, in our microbiome? There's more and more data that's coming out about the microbiome system and the power of the immune system that flows through your gut. And some of the issues that you see when your gut up to par is digestive issues, weak immune system, lack of absorption of nutrients, inflammation, skin problems, mental health, weight management, hormonal imbalances, autoimmune conditions. Everything we've been talking about today can be identified through your microbiome in your gut. In addition to that, number 5 is a parasite invasion. If we eat animal protein, there's a high probability that we've inherited and consumed parasites. Because we may have, some of you may or may not have seen some of the videos on how they process uh, uh, food, the meat that we consume, how it goes from the animal to our table, and that process, is not conducive to the most healthy conditions, and it causes the inflammation. It causes the mental health issues. It causes the brain fog, and they've done autopsies, and they found these parasites in all over people's bodies in their major organs. So we know that parasites is an issue, and we address that in our detox process. So let's talk about the solution. We just talked about 5 steps. Let's talk about 5 problems that we incurred. The blood type, we don't know the blood type. The oxidation, omega-3s, unhealthy gut, unhealthy gut, the parasite invasions. We just talked about those 5. So let's talk about 5 steps to generational health. We laid out some issues. Now let's deal with some solutions. So I'm going to give you a disclaimer because we're going to talk about some products. The company, is a business. We talked about Akana. Akana is a business, and they've identified these issues in our culture, in our society, but they've come up with a solution. And our products are not designed to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The information provided herein is for informational purposes only. It's not intended to provide. It's not intended to be a substitute for advice from your physician or any other healthcare professionals. If you're pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or have a medical condition, consult your healthcare provider before using any nutritional products. Individual results may vary because we're going to show you some results that we're getting with the protocols that we're proposing and sharing with people. Number 1, we go back to the fundamental question: do you know your blood type? Once we identify your blood type, now we can start identifying some things special to you. One of the things that is prevalent in our medical culture today is personalized medicine. And personalized medicine, in my mind, starts with knowing your blood type. And then once we identify that, again, we find out what's best for you, because food that heals one can harm another. One person's medicine can be another person's poison. And we've designed all our products with that in mind, so that we're offering solutions for these issues that support your personal situation and your own individualized solution to better health. So what we're going to show you right now is a way to kind of get started on that process. So right here, let's talk about, how do you find out your blood type? If you don't know your blood type, again, going back to my story real quick, my doctor didn't know. So I knew that through my connection with Akana that I could find out my blood type myself. I said, I'm gonna just go do it myself. So I ordered a blood type kit, and I looked at the instructions. It wasn't brain surgery. And guess what? I identified that I was a blood type O in literally 5 minutes. And the doctor wanted to schedule more tests. They wanted to bill my insurance company an exorbitantly high amount of money. And I did it for, literally pennies on the dollar. So what we're going to offer you here is an opportunity for you to learn your blood type if you don't know. We have two kind of intro starter packs. One is a kit that includes the blood type test so that you can identify your blood type. And once you have that information, we're going to offer you a way to get started on that way to generational health with our 4-day bitters cleanse detox program. And the person who invited you here will walk you through that protocol, but our products will address a lot of those issues that we dealt with today. As you can see on the screen, we have the flat belly fuel, which, and I'm gonna talk about that again in a second, but it's a revolutionary new product that is blood type neutral for you, and it's gonna give you that protein that you need. But guess what? It's a vegetable based protein, a plant based protein that's gonna help get you there. Then option number two, if you already know your blood type, this particular option doesn't include the kit, but it gets you the product line that you need to get you started to help cleanse and nourish your body, as well as the cards that you can see in the background there that has information on your blood type, on what's good for you to eat, beneficial, neutral, and food just stay away. A little more detail. So this is the 4-day detox protocol that I talked about, because it's a bitters tea, and it's a quick, powerful tool to do a 4-day detox. We have a couple other protocols that I'll talk about in a moment, but this is the way to jump in with both feet and get started, because it'll help boost your digestion by stimulating the production of digestive enzymes, bile, and stomach acid. It'll regulate your appetite. It'll reduce your cravings for unhealthy foods. It supports liver detoxification by filtering out toxins. It'll eliminate fat-soluble toxins. It'll alkalize the body, and it'll improve your microbiome, your gut. As a scan coach with the company, one of the services that my nutrition company offers is a bioscan, which is we have a device that is 85 to 95% accurate. And one of the findings that we've identified as we go out, our screening people across the country, is that they have fatty liver, because the liver is being overworked and not processing out toxins, and this will address that. So what are some of these are some of the key areas that we talked about that our flat belly plant-based protein identifies. It gives you the antioxidant protection. It gives you those omega-3s that we talked about. It helps protect your gut and your microbiome. It helps eliminate those parasites. And yes, it provides you that blood type support. So we go to the next protocol. We talked about the 4-day bitters program. We bump it up a notch, and we're going to do a 7-day detox, where we're going to take you off of animal protein. We're going to help cleanse your system. We're going to remove parasites and mucus from your system. We're going to regenerate your cells. And we have a 3-product package that addresses each one of those areas. We have a product that removes mucus and parasites. We have a liquid tea colonic that's going to help that waste eliminated from your system, and we have superfoods that's going to help regenerate and build your cells. And you can see on this image right here on day 1 what that gentleman's gut looked like and what it looked like in just 7 days of waste eliminated from their system. And I've been working with a lot of my nutrition clients over the past 30 days. Everybody wants to start the year fresh, and the average results that we're seeing is anywhere between 8 to 10 pounds within a 7-day period of waste being eliminated out of their system. And we're seeing results just like you're seeing on this screen right here. And we have the big boy package right here. Is the 20-day reset. And if you can discipline yourself for 21 days, you can have the results that Billy S had, where he dropped 30 pounds in 21 days using the same exact system of the mucus eliminator, the liquid colonic, and the superfoods, but you just take it out 21 days. And we've got a new product coming out called Hemp Govi, which is a modeled after what you see on the commercial market, but it's a holistic answer to that. When you look at those advertisements on TV where everybody's singing and dancing about sticking a injectable into their system so that they can lose a few pounds, and then they take the other half of the commercial reading off the side effects. You don't want that. We don't want to normalize injecting ourselves with some foreign chemical so that we can lose weight. We're better than that. God gave us the tools to address that. And as a company, we're providing those tools to the public. And we have natural based products that will address those without all of the pharmaceutical side effects. And here's a stunning example of one of our business partners, Miss Reverend Ernestine Davis, who is 60. Actually, she just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Sister Ernestine. She's 64 years young, and she is a championship fitness swimsuit bodybuilder, as you can see. Absolutely gorgeous. And she switched to eating to her blood type. She is using our flat belly fuel as the foundation of her training program, and she's winning bikini fitness contests at her young age against competitors more than half her age. And these are some of her proteges, some of her trainees that she's coaching and training who are having the same results. 63, 52, 50 years old. And as you can see, of course, it takes work. Of course, it takes training to achieve a fitness level that you're seeing right there. But the core of their training goes back to what they're eating. And what they're utilizing is the product line that we're talking about. Again, the age reversing system. Here's another example of Tanisha. She's down 15 pounds in 21 days. Dramatic results. Here's another 21-day result. You can see where the gut is protruding on day 1, and you can see in day 21 where she's achieved significant results. Here's another, screen full of results, so you can see for yourself. And my personal results over the last probably kind of weaning myself off of the program right now, but over the last 14 days, I've lost about 12 pounds. And this young lady right here, Yvette, was so excited about her results. She wrote a book. She wrote her 100-day journey to better health. And you can see the dramatic results that she got in 100 days of using our program. And she's one of our models, our role models on the effectiveness of what we're doing. So I'm going to make another shift in our product line. We talked about the age reversing products, but we've expanded our product line to, and I mentioned this at the very beginning, we started off as a CBD product company. We formulated proprietary blends of herbs and botanical to alleviate your well-being. It's scientifically documented on the positive results of CBD-based products, and the distinction between CBD and THC. One, that CBD is a naturally occurring compound that occurs in industrial hemp. It has 85 different cannabinoids, which are healthy components, and unlike its twin brother THC, CBD is non-psychotropic. So what we're bringing to the market is health without the high. And what we're also bringing to the market is THCA. And what we've identified is that THC, the psychotropic unless it's heated. So we're producing a compound that it occurs naturally, but if you use it in its natural state and you don't heat it, it gives you the effectiveness of the CBD and the THC without the psychoactive compounds. Because that's important, because your body has what's called in it, excuse me, the endocannabinoid system, or the ECS. So your body has these receptors on all your major organs that's receptive to CBD and utilizes it and brings your body back into balance. So knowing this, and in this general knowledge, if you just look around you, you can see that the CBD market has exploded. Regulations have relaxed, and globally, it's grown from a $20 $8 billion business in 2021, and it's projected to be a $197 billion industry by 2028. And we are positioned in the right place to take advantage of that growth because we have an innovative product line that deals with it from the holistic perspective. And we're connecting that knowledge of the ECS system, we're connecting that knowledge to the blood type diet, and we're bringing our message to the public to help them with the things that we've identified today, because the combination of the two will help lower your stomach acid and your stress levels. It'll address susceptibility to your autoimmune issues. It'll deal with the inflammation and sensitivity to digestive issues. So our company is really on the cutting edge of holistic health. And I mentioned earlier, we're coming out at the end of this month, I believe, with a product called Hemp Govi that's packed with plant-based ingredients that's going to deal with burning fat naturally. It's going to boost your metabolism. It's going to curb your appetite. It's going to support your liver and your kidney function. And it's going to promote that overall balance within your system in a revolutionary way. You won't have to, stick an injectable into your system and wait for the side effects to come. We've got the game changer that's coming before the end of this month. As you can see, we're also on the cutting edge of the THCA product, where we're dealing with arthritis and autoimmune, anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, chronic pain, cancer. All these effects are documented, being relieved by CBD and THC. And we're formulating our products to be able to take advantage of that and help a lot of people. We have a product called RSO, which is Rick Simpson oil, which again is another cutting edge product where it deals with issues like pain, anxiety, sleep, Parkinson's, anti-inflammatories. It stimulates your appetite. It's an antioxidant. Our research and development unit in our company is phenomenal, and they're constantly bringing these innovative products to us to be able to introduce to the general public, because we want to be able to transform your diet and dramatically improve your health. And we've got case study after case study, testimonial after testimonial on how our protocols are impacting lives all over the country and soon to be all over the world. So we want to put you in a position where, again, you can share the gift of health. We want to be able to inspire you to create this generational health. We have tools. We have a process where we can get your omega-3 panels checked. We can give you data on your gut. We can show you where you're deficient in vitamins and minerals. We can do an analysis of your liver, kidneys, and your heart. And how much that data worth. On the screen, it says $1,000 value. All this information is worth more than $1,000. And the person who invited you here can introduce you to this information. But guess what? For as little as $189, we can provide you with all this data. We can put you in a position to address any issues that you may have. And, we're talking about, dinner and a movie. So, people ask, well, how much is it cost and how much is it worth? How much is your health worth? A visit to the doctor or a day in the hospital is a lot more costly than this $189 special that we're talking about. So now, we also are talking about being able to get even more opportunities to get access to the product line. We have a system in place through our company, which is called Auto Ship, where once you identify the products that you need, like flat belly protein here, the flat belly fuel, we'll be able to get it to you on demand on a regular basis. You won't have to wait for your products. And this is a package that the person who invited you here can offer you, where you can be able to get your products, you can get your kits, and based on when we move into our business mode, and I'm rapidly getting there, you'll be able to utilize these products in multiple ways for personal use, and you can also utilize them from a business perspective, and we'll show you how to do that. So again, we talked about our company's R&D. We're constantly introducing new products into the market. We have products, we have a plant-based coffee, we have essential oils, we have pain relief that's highly effective, immediate results from I've had a client who was suffering from sciatic nerve issues, and within moments after using our pain cream, received immediate results, immediate relief. Hair care products, culinary products, and we're constantly adding new and innovative products to our product line. So we talked about, my blood type journey, and I'm sure we have plenty more. And if you're part of our presentation today, drop your type into the chat. When I come back to you live, we'll look at the chat and see what types of blood types we have represented here. So let's move into kind of a strategic mode real quick because we're a little past time. Our goal is to help 1.5 people in the United States understand what it means when we ask the question, know your blood type. What does that mean at 1.5 million people, 1.5% of people? That's 5 million people. If 5 million people know their blood type, we're going to go out there and reach 5 million people. And if we look at the math, again, transition into a business mode at $50, that's $250 million in sales for one product. And if 80% of the people reject you, you're still dealing with 1 million people that you have working. And if you get 10% of those people on auto ship for one product, that's $3 million a month. And then you factor that in, $3 million a month times 12 months, that's $36 million in annual sales for one product on auto ship. Okay, so that's the kind of volume that we're talking about in the business potential that we have in what we're offering the general public. So what is Harvard? So when you're looking at what we're doing as a business, we've established that there's a market for what we're doing. We see sickness and disease all around, and we have a methodology and a concept to address those issues. We have products that address those issues. And now we're talking, how do we get the products into the marketplace from a business perspective? As a company, if a company is 18 months old, you want to work with a company that's at least 18 months old, because 90% of companies fail after their first 18 months. Check that box. We're going into our 6th year. Also, according to Harvard, if a company has less than 500,000 people, it's a great opportunity. If it's less than 100,000 people, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. Guess what? Check that box. We're still in that formulation pioneering stage. We're getting ready to break through. So you're in the right place at the right time, as they say. And one of the stats that should catch your attention is that the first 100,000 people, 100 to 150,000 people involved in the business in the early stages will earn 80% of the wealth of that company. 80%. And what's beautiful, get back with the person who invited you here, there are ways that you can participate in revenue pools of the company. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of the marketing concept here, but one of the things that you want to pay attention to is the revenue sharing pools. So overall, according to the data provided by Harvard, not by Mike, not by Coach Mike, what you just saw, what I just tried to explain to you within this last hour, is that this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So what are our next steps? Absorbing and digesting all the information I just ran through in the last hour is get back with the person who invited you here, get your questions answered. Answer questions about the health products, about your health in general, about the products that we share with you, about the business plan that we have to take advantage of the business components of what we talked about. Get your questions answered. Accept your gift. The person who invited you here will set you up as they have a preferred customer account with your name on it. They'll get you set up. They'll show you how you can access all of these products at your convenience. You can go into your own account and you can place your own orders, and you can be your own best customer. Or you can take it to a next step and say, maybe I want to be a brand ambassador. maybe just more than a customer. And what we can do is not only can we'll go a step beyond setting up a preferred customer account, we'll set you up with a marketing site so you can earn as you learn. So now you have control of a brand of products that you can go out there and generate some revenue with. And then there's another type of person, and we're a little bit beyond the brand ambassador, but more of a visionary, more of an entrepreneur, more of a person who says, I want to be a business partner. I see what you just shared with me. I see the problem. I see the market potential. Hey, let's grow together. Let's leverage our talent, skills, and abilities to take this to the next level. You know, what I just shared with you over the last hour was what the company brings to the table. We're bringing R&D. We're bringing cutting edge product. We're bringing information and systems about what's going on in the healthcare market. So now all we need is we need some foot soldiers, so to speak. We need people to go out there and be visionary entrepreneurs. Let's put our skills and talents together collectively and take this whole concept to the next level, and we can all benefit. So I want to be able to say thank you for taking time out of your busy Saturday morning to share with us, to give us this hour. The person who invited you here thought enough of you that you would get some value out of this information and that it could be beneficial, mutually beneficial. Get back with them, let them answer your questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And I am going to stop the recording.